What is up, my bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to explain to you about pause pull-ups, otherwise known as the Frenchie, and how you can use it in your training to increase your pull-up strength and performance. The Frenchie was something I was introduced to about 4 years ago when I started getting into climbing, specifically bouldering, and it's quite a common move in that climbing world to increase lock-off or isometric strength when you're transitioning between moves. However, it's something that I've continued to use myself in my own training and also with clients to help improve pull-up performance. So what is a Frenchie? A Frenchie is when you do a pull-up and you pause at a specific point in that movement. Generally speaking, you do a single pause per rep of a pull-up, and then you can pause at different positions throughout that pull-up over the various reps to get whatever effect out of the training you want. There's many reasons for doing this. Number one, isometrics require the greatest coordination and contraction of motor units and muscle fibers. So it's going to be a great way to improve both inter and intramuscular coordination in the pull-up motor pattern. Isometrics are also great at improving strength in a specific part of a lift. So for example, let's say you're weak in the lock-off of a pull-up at the top. You can perform isometrics on each rep of the pull-up in that top position to get stronger specifically in that top position. It's going to give you an increase in strength at around 20 degrees either side of that pause position in the movement that you're training. Third, and finally, the reason I love this kind of isometric pull-up training is that it's a very easy way to add intensity to a pull-up session without having to add weight, for example, if you're training at home. So what I'm going to share with you is how I personally like to perform Frenchies, and then I thought I would also share basically all the variations that you can apply to it to make it meet your needs, your ability, and your specific training focus. I personally prefer to perform the Frenchie with pauses in 4 different positions. First of all, you would pull up and you would perform an isometric in that locked off 0 degree position. You then go down, you'd perform another pull-up, and then you would lock off at 60 degrees, then again at 120 degrees, and then finally at 180 degrees or in an active hang position. Each one of these pauses you would hold for 5 seconds, and performing a pull-up in between creates a total of 4 pull-ups with 4 5-second isometric contractions. You would then just repeat this cycle until you're about 1 rep off failure going through those positions. Personally speaking, 1 to 3 Frenchies or 4 to 12 pull-ups in total is a pretty good number and a pretty tough number to hit. However, this isn't the only way to perform a Frenchie. Generally speaking, we want to include anywhere from 3 to 6 pause points. So this can be as basic as 0 degrees in that lock-off position, at 90 degrees, and at 180 degrees in that active hang position, or it can be as many as 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, and 180 in that locked off position for 6 positions of pause. So that's how you would make this harder. More or less isn't better, it kind of just depends what your goal is. Obviously, having more pauses is going to make the intensity a little bit higher to complete that cycle of 1 Frenchie. Another way to adjust the intensity is changing the duration of that isometric hold. I originally said, and what I recommend to people is 5 seconds in those positions. However, you can do anywhere from 1 to 10 seconds per those positions. Obviously, the more time you spend in the isometric, the harder it's going to make the exercise and the less Frenchies you're going to be able to perform. The final option that you can do is to perform the pause on the concentric element of the exercise rather than the eccentric. This is going to be much more intense because what you're doing is you're basically going to reduce any momentum that you have in that pull-up, and you're going to have to start from that isometric position to complete the rep. This is going to be the hardest variation, but also potentially the one that's going to increase the most gains. The same method can be applied with those 3 to 6 positions. It's just done on the concentric versus the eccentric. There are quite literally tens of different possibilities that you can do depending on what your goals are. For example, as I said in the beginning, if you want to increase your lock-off in a pull-up, say you're training the one-arm chin-up, you might do more pauses in that lock-off position. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you're struggling to activate and maintain retraction during a pull-up, you might do some more pauses at the bottom position to really cue that activation and focus on putting your scapula in the correct position for a pull-up. That being said, that is kind of everything I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. If you have any questions about this method, if you have any thoughts or opinions, or if you're going to give it a try, why not leave a comment down below? Let me know what you're thinking. I always love to hear from you in the comments. You can also hit that subscribe button because we're oh so close to 100,000 subscribers. So why not join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe? But that has been it for this week, guys. I hope you have a strong week, and peace.